Guys, we want to welcome you to the M&G show. This is Manny. I'm Prince Gio. Today we want to address a couple issues and just talk about a few issues being a part of the LGBTQ community. Um, I'm 34 and I've done a lot of work on myself to get to a place of comfortability, a place of acceptance, and a place of loving myself. So today we're going to talk about loving the skin you're in, even if you're not thin. Um, there's so many discriminatory issues that we face every day being a part of this community. And we want to talk about it. We want to address it. We want to just put it out on the table. We want your feedback.
Yes.
And we just want to have an open discussion with you guys today. Address some issues that we've kind of dealt with. So we can get a better understanding also and, just share some of our experiences pretty much.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I feel like loving the skin you're in, even if you're not thin. I mean, in this lifestyle, I mean, we're critiqued for so much already. Being black, then being gay, is like two strikes against you. We all feel that way normally in the lifestyle. I
Yeah.
would say. So when you come into the lifestyle, you would think that we'd be more accepting of each other. 9 times out of 10, that's not it. Like you're gonna be judged by if you're the right size, uh, skin tone, skin color, all those things. Like money, what you have material wise, like it's a list of things.
And I feel like you're beat up the most on by your own community. I think growing up or at a stage when I was younger, not necessarily sure of myself. When I got to a point of being certain with who I was, my fear primarily in the beginning used to be the general consensus, the general population, and their judgment and their mistreatment. But actually being a part of the community now and being free, I'm understanding that mistreatment comes most from our own community.
Right.
And I think that's where the discouragement comes in at, and trying to understand where they're disconnected, how can we change that is the bigger issue for me. That's something I'm just not used to. And being in a semi-bigger city now, I'm finding that issue more prevalent. Like it's everywhere, every day. You can't look a certain way, you can't act a certain way, you can't be this, you that, and that automatically disqualifies you. And it's funny to me because it's like people don't see themselves as who they are,
Right.
but they're very quick to critique you for who you are. So
And being comfortable bothers a lot of people.
yeah.
For instance, I had a friend I invited over here before, and the statement was told to me out on my balcony. He was like, "Well, what kind of guys do you like?" And I was like, "I like thick dudes. I like, stocky built guys. That's what I always like." And he was like, "Well, do you feel like that's a cop out, or do you feel like that's like an excuse you use so you don't have to like stay in shape or get thinner or whatever the case was?" And I was like, no. Even when I was smaller, I'm 5'8", so even when I was 5'8" and I was roughly
I think
180
you're still
something.
5'8".
Yeah, I'm still 5'8", But when I was 5'8" and I was only let's say 185, 190 pounds or so, I was a small guy, small frame. I still dated stocky guys, so that had nothing to do with
Well, I
anything.
mean, the thing is, you like who you like and what you like.
Yeah,
And
and
everybody has a type.
A preference I can accept. I feel like it's past the purpose when you're disrespecting others.
For the choice of who they choose
For
to
the
be
choice
with,
of who
what
they be
like.
with, or just in my opinion, like for what they desire to be. Like for instance, if you had a thing for thin guys, right? I don't have nothing wrong. I mean, I see no problem with you having a thing for thin guys, but when you be like, oh, chubby niggas be funky, or chubby niggas be this, or chubby niggas be that. Okay, that's past the preference.
It's a lot of skinny. It's a lot of skinny who don't bathe or
Don't have good hygiene at all.
Right.
So
Exactly. So you like who you like. You choose to be with who you like.
Yeah.
You are attracted to who you are attracted to. That doesn't make you any different for liking or having your own preference. And I think that's the issue. People get offended when it's like, well, how could you choose them over me or this or that? And I'm like, okay, if I like who I like and it really attracts me and that's where I can see myself or who I can see myself being with, why is it an issue to you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, I am comfortable in my own skin, and anybody that I date or anybody that I attract, first needs to be comfortable in their own skin because that's that's a battle.
yeah, and I feel like even when it came down to like as far as being out or being DL or being private, people have their purpose of what they would date. I would always prefer to date someone who is more comfortable, who is out, who is whatever. If you're out And even if you live a private lifestyle, because I feel like I am out, but I'm still yet private when it comes down to my bedroom business. If I don't have to tell you about my sexual encounters, I'm not going to. Like, that's just how I'm made. So I feel like when it comes down to dating someone who's more private, more DL, whatever, even though they would prefer me, I wouldn't necessarily prefer them because I would have to change so much about myself to accommodate who they are or what they're trying to get the world to perceive them as.
I mean, is it necessary
Yeah.
to have to change? Is it necessary to? Are you willing to accommodate? Is the question, because sometimes we say that we are willing to make those changes, and once we're in that situation, we both find ourselves like,
I've lied to myself.
and
I've lied to myself, and I'll be like, "Oh, I can do it."
You feel cheated of an experience. Like, why would I have to alter so much about myself just to be with someone to try to please them? And in the end, I'm not even being pleased because I've changed so much about myself.
And I've done the work. I've done all the things that I felt like a person could get shut down for. I was in a relationship where I felt like I got beat down pretty bad about size. So it's like, let me lose weight, lost the weight. Okay, you're not light skinned. So I started trying to use different fading creams and this and that. We move past that. It's like, well, I feel like you're too feminine. So then it's like I gotta study every mannerism in the fucking world. Then you get to a point where you're like, is it even worth it? I was 22 then, and now I'm 28, about to be 29. I look back and I'm like, he was ugly and old, and he wasn't happy with his life. So why am I trying to like mimic what he's doing or trying to give him what he wanted? He's not happy. So how was he gonna find? How was he gonna be? How was I gonna make him happy if I came in a situation where he was already miserable?
When you were not truly what he wanted.
Yeah, I wasn't what he
You
wanted.
could never make him happy.
And on top of it, to be honest, I feel like he really wasn't what I wanted. It was just
Convenience.
Convenience.
Being new in the
lifestyle. And I think he seen an innocence there that he was able to take advantage of.
Innocence, vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, the need to want.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of issues that we in this community deal with. A lot of times we get like snatched into situations because of our vulnerability or our need to want or desire. And people notice that, and they might not be right for you. They could be right for you in the moment just based off like what you like. And that's why it's so important to understand what you like but what you deserve. So, you know, again, loving the skin that you're in, even if you're not thin, is very important because I'm not a thin individual. Like, I've never like claimed to be that. And I'm very confident. I think it angers a lot of people. It's not even a thing where it's a threat. It just angers them. They cannot stand to see
How dare
me.
you.
Yeah, you know, how
dare you.
Especially with everything that I've been through in my life. It like amazes people.
How dare
how you can be that comfortable? How can you be that happy? How can you be that that excited to just be open and walk around and not care what anybody has to say or think about you?
And we can't talk about where we are now without talking about like where we were like in the past. I grew up a very feminine kid. Like I was a very feminine kid. Deep in church. We was in church. I make a joke all the time. We was in church literally every other day. But we really were in church every other day. So I feel like it was shoved down our throat. Like, if you're gonna be in this lifestyle, that's a sin. Like, you can't be gay. That's an abomination. If you're this or you're that, that's a sin. Being a feminine kid, people are gonna already measure you up to be gay, even before you know what gay is. So even before I knew what gay was, there was whispers about me being gay. And when you're a child, you don't know what gay is. You don't care about that. Your hormones not even at a level to even
They're not
develop to even know. So it's like people will instantly throw a label on you. But moving on, like as a teenager, I'll never forget my mom found my porn collection under my bed. So
she literally just went on Facebook because you know your sister's gonna share.
I mean, okay. But I mean, she found my porn collection, and I mean, we had that conversation, and I mean, in her mind, her heart, I think she wanted to pray it away or hope that it was a phase, but then realized it kind of wasn't.
I think every mother, like, I don't feel like any mother in the beginning would ever be accepting.
Yeah.
I think over time,
especially in the black community.
Yeah, in the black community, it's just not
gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for now with these new age parents or whatever, but our generation, our parents now, like it was not like okay, they out there doing cheer stunts and stuff because they child that came out, you know, because I had to understand even at an age the fears my mom had of me being this way because of the things that could have been done to me as far as harm. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget because I've never like portrayed to be this overly masculine individual. You know what I'm saying? The man got to do what the man do type stuff. Like, you know, but I remember getting a full scholarship to Jackson State. You know, my senior year, and I got several full scholarships to several schools. But that was the one school that I really, really wanted to go to, very badly, for the band primarily. But my mom was against it. my brother was against it. You know, I wasn't the most. I'm never, like I said, pretending to be the most masculine. And being so far away from home, she was concerned about me getting down there, getting too comfortable for one, and then like somebody doing something to me, and her being so far away and not being able to be at arm's reach or whatever.
Yeah.
So they were against me going there. Like, so I ended up like settling for Mississippi State. Like, it was okay, but that's not where I really wanted to be. But I understood her fears because we are a target in the community. So it's different when that type of target versus you being in the community and being targeted by your own kind. That's where like the disheartenment comes in it. Like for me, so we're wanting to figure out like what ways can we like bridge that gap, make that change, create that change, and have a better tomorrow because. We got to stop beating up on each other. We have to really start embracing each other in the community and showing love. And as long as that's not being, displayed, we're always going to have confusion in this community. And we are in the times where we pretty much are all we get.
That's it. And I feel like too, a lot of us in this lifestyle. Granted, I mean, we may have grew up and didn't have much, so. When we got of age, it was like we're gonna do everything we can do. Like whether we had to work 2 or 3 jobs to have things that we never had. We're like that. It's about what you drive, what you got, where you headed, what you're doing. Labels.
Titles.
We are so into that. And I feel like when it comes down to love, we have like took love and just threw it away.
So it's whatever.
It's whatever. As long as I have a lot of money or whatever built up in my account, I can't even be worried about love. But at the same time, you're on an app. And the only reason you're on this app, even people are like, oh, I'll be on the app and I'm just looking for a hookup.
Going with the flow.
Going with the flow. All these things. Honestly, at the end of the day, not necessarily saying that you're looking for love, but you're looking for some type of validation that you probably didn't get it elsewhere. Because in any other community, nobody's on an app all day looking for that. Only our community will stay on the app literally all day. When we wake up, before we check our own regular messages, we're probably going to get on the app most of the time, just being real, even myself. So it's like to sit there and say, oh, I'm on the app, I'm just passing time. You could pass the time by watching Netflix.
Read a book.
Read a book.
Let me hush.
Read.
You know what I'm saying? Like, read a book.
Woo, look, this is a good book. Look, it's a Christian book, but y'all can read this book. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all be right here trying to read bitches and niggas, but you should be reading books. Like,
right.
Come on.
And being so shady because, like, okay, people have fucked us up or hurt us in our community. So we feel like, okay, I'm going to take that same energy and put it into the community. And I'm like, if we fought that outside our community, why bring that shit in here? Like, I don't get that.
You have to, and I think a lot of it is, based on insecurities. But I think we have to really do the work that is necessary so we can be who we desire to be, so we can have a level of comfortability with ourselves and love and appreciate ourselves. So that way, when we get in relationships, come on, message. When we get in relationships, we don't have to expect that or demand that or require that attention, that appreciation, or even that love because we have it. Having a partner, having friends, family in the community, it should be a compliment. It should be, addition to. And I think a lot of times we look for everybody else to validate the things that we lack, that we have not done the work on ourselves for. So you have to get to a point, and I would never change myself based on anybody not liking me, based on the work that I have put in myself, me loving me the way I've loved me. If you don't love you the way you love you, I'm sorry. Like, don't hate me for loving me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest.
It takes so much work, and that's the problem I have with people who like to waste my time or try to be shady or try to be low down. My thing is, if I'm not your type, I'm not your type. You can leave me alone. You can literally leave me alone. And I feel like, too, the blame game. I will accept and take on accountability of my parts or why certain things or relationships come to an end. If I could acknowledge what I've done wrong, but you still over there like, well, I ain't did nothing. And you may have created the most hell. Your insecurities may have showed up several different times in our relationship. When it wasn't even me doing anything, you just had several experiences that I may have triggered something in you. But that doesn't mean what I did was wrong just because you felt triggered. And I feel like a lot of our not getting along in our community is based off the tiniest things.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
think something too. You know,
smallest
like
things.
we've dealt in situations like me and you being best friends where
Yeah.
they can't
hate
stand.
him.
Yeah, they want us to
I
hate each
hate
other.
him.
They can't stand the fact
Fuck
that we
him.
close and we really support each other, uplift each other. We don't tear each other down.
He's
And
too feminine. I'm just like, I'm feminine.
just as feminine, just as
I
feminine.
watch Drag Race.
I don't.
I watch what's that show called? Project Runway.
I don't, like-
I do a lot of feminine things. I will watch a makeup tutorial for no reason. Ain't did nobody makeup. But I'm just saying.
And I hate the whole idea that you have to base or judge femininity based on the outside appearance versus the inside, or just, you know what I'm saying, first look. You know what I'm saying? And not actually, okay, you can say I'm feminine because I wear loud clothing or bright clothing, but
doesn't make a difference.
it doesn't.
I'm on a
Femininity is
pink,
femininity. Like,
on a pink shirt. Who's gonna check me, boo?
all right, Sheree, you better get her the recognition.
Just like, who gonna check
He
me?
need a coin for that, Sheree.
Okay.
He just, you know.
Because I feel like this, and this is how I felt, and this is the place I had to get to. Honestly, it's like the people who will sit there and try to be with you but tear you down at the same time. Because those are normally people who are trying to tear you down. It's people who want to hook up or hang out or be in a relationship with you. If you gotta tear me down, we're not about to be shit. We ain't about to be friends.
And then they want
I don't
to,
tear my friends down.
They want to guilt trip you.
Yeah, like,
You know.
you should do this and you should do that based off my insecurities. Those are yours. I got my own.
You know.
I still ain't tall yet.
And you know,
I drunk all the milk.
losing weight for me, you know, I'm not a bad size or whatever. I'm a thick individual.
He thick.
Thick.
It's a thick guy.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Where's
But-
TikTok at?
Okay. So we've talked about this, like, but the thing is, like, I am comfortable with who I am. You know, I'm comfortable with who I became. I appreciate the work that I put into who I am.
That's it.
And nobody at this point can do anything to tear me down because I've worked on myself. Like, either you gonna get with the program or you gonna get gone because, like,
Fuck out
this
here.
it right here.
Get out of here.
This it right here.
And I believe in body positivity. I mean, I remember when Lizzo started showing her body and on the beach and bikinis and all this other stuff that she was doing. People had such an issue, but I'm like, she's living her life. Like, this is how she lives her life. You may look at it like her trying to, like, oh, she's trying to inspire people to be unhealthy. And I'm like,
I don't have an issue with anyone who's skinny.
she didn't say
you know
eat.
what I'm saying?
She
'Cause
didn't say eat nothing.
I don't have an issue with anyone who's skinny because I'm attracted to that. I don't have an issue with anyone who's thick. You know what I'm saying? I don't have an issue with anyone who's like husky or, you know, of a bigger size or whatever. You like what you like and you attract what you attract. We all have, you know, we all love what we love. And there's somebody out there for everybody. It just takes a little time to find that person sometimes. But, you know, you shouldn't tear anybody down based on what they like or who they are, actually, especially who they are.
Because preference is a thing. Preference, I think that's the thing. People a lot of times in our lifestyle get preference and prejudice really confused. A preference is more so about what you prefer and what you like. What really
And you're
draws you to a
entitled.
person.
You're entitled to being.
You're entitled to a preference. Everybody
And
is.
you're entitled to being. Like,
Yeah.
one day you could deal with somebody or be with somebody who's skinny, and then the next day might have somebody who's, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
a little thicker.
But far as a prejudice goes, it's kind of like
You hate.
you hate or you see this particular group in a negative light and you stay away, avoid, or mistreat that. And that's a difference.
I think an issue, too, like loving the skin you're in or whatever, I've seen people who proclaim to hate femininity, but all the things that you want to desire, you're not going to get only a certain, you know, individual to do that.
I have to be completely honest. There's a lot of things because me and George, should we talk about positions? Or should we leave that out?
We leave it out to
All
another
right.
one.
Okay.
You know.
So there's a lot of things that you're not gonna get from me that you can get from him. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
One thing, especially lately, grace. I don't give a lot of grace.
And I never used to. But, you know, I've changed.
You changed. I don't give much grace like that.
But, you know, the thing is,
Especially on core value things, it's like you got it or you don't. And I'm not waiting. I'm not looking at potential. You got it right now or you don't. Bye. You can't show up. You can't show up to anybody's register talking about, oh, I'll get the money tomorrow. Well, you ain't getting it. You ain't getting with the items you got in your hand. You ain't gonna get them to tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I don't do like things based off potential or whatever. I gotta see things in you right now that draw me to you. And if those things aren't there, I gotta go because I'm gonna find myself miserable trying to wait on it. I can't do it.
you know, again, it's just like I said, you know, when it comes to the situation, um, you have to do the work. And so whoever you're attracted to, whoever you love, again, when it comes to situations in this community, dating a more feminine person or somebody who's more comfortable with their sexuality or loving themselves truly and not wanting to be like private or closet or whatever, you will reap more benefits from somebody who's like more feminine, like or more open or more acceptable of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Just more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like they don't want it this next, this real, this loyal, this secure. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it this ready and available.
They don't want it.
Like it's like
They
little Caesars.
just
It's
don't
hot and ready.
want it. Them motherfuckers said hot and ready. I thought about this shit earlier. I be like, why am I thinking about Little Caesars? The nastiest pizza ever.
That cardboard ass pizza. I'm sorry.
Got the best sayings though, hot and ready.
They do, but you know, people just have to understand the lane that you're in. Appreciate you 1st and foremost. Find ways to love you so that way you don't beat other people down, and you can actually take that time that you would spend beating them down to uplift them and encourage them. You know,
If this is me, years ago I had a lot of like prejudice against people who were feminine, things against people who were positive, undetectable, all those things. Any STDs, any STIs. Like I had my thing against that, dating people who were like that. It took a while to grow out of that, and I only grew out of it just because I was willing to just have an experience and to talk to people and get their say-so.
Educating yourself.
Yeah, educating myself, and even some things you just will never read. You can read about what something does to a person's body, but you will never read about what it does to their emotions. You won't get that until you speak to a human. So it's like I had to like force myself into it to learn more about the culture of being in the LGBT community.
I think the biggest issue though, we have a bias in our community that we don't even acknowledge a lot of times. You know, we are our worst critics, and we are our worst when it comes to mistreating our own kind. We can't even like target or throw the blame on anyone in the heterosexual community anymore because we are the worst at it, and we got to change that. It's just so imperative to do so because we, at the end of the day, or all we have when it comes to like building together, growing together, organizations, community events, like whatever it is to bring us and bridge the gap, and so we can have a better tomorrow. We actually have to put that petty and negative stuff away and actually find ways to uplift each other, encourage each other, and just showcase love, like true love, and actually embracing and showing people how to love themselves. Because I think a lot of times people envy the fact that you can be so proud and so happy of who you are, who you have became. You know, like being in this lifestyle, it's not a like overnight process, and I think people forget that.
And it sucks. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There are times where I feel like I'll speak for myself. I won't speak for others, but for me, when I was trying to be more closeted, when I was being DL or whatever the case may be, I turned down really good people because I wasn't ready to come out. But the thing is, like, I let them know, we can't do this because I'm not ready to come out. Like,
and a person should be able to accept their wishes in the moment. So this is why I say it's hard to try to alter yourself or even get someone else to alter. You can give them time, and if you're willing and they're willing to, figure out a medium, then that's fine. That's different. But don't ever force anyone to be anything they're not ready to be, and they should never force you to change for who you are, because then you're not being authentic and true to you, and then you become very like stagnant, unhappy, and even in a drunken stupor sometimes because you just are not who you really can be. You're not your best self.
You'll be bitter.
Yeah.
You'll create a bitterness and a sense of resentment. And for a long time, I think I hated. I know, like, the church, the black community, like, anything that we hold true to being, it seems like every community just, like, taught you to hate yourself.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? They teach you to hate
I
yourself.
don't think they teach you to hate yourself. They don't necessarily teach you how to love yourself.
I honestly think hate. Because if you sit up in a church and you tell people that this is abominable and God doesn't love this and he don't fool with this and he don't fool with that, you're almost a person who is not really a spiritual person takes that as, well, God don't love me. And when you feel like God don't love you, who are you praying to if you do pray? So then there's like no Godhead in your life. And then you turn around, when it comes down to the black community, when it comes down to hip hop, especially, homophobic. So every person around, I mean, they can't even give a guy a compliment by saying no homo, because if you are homo, you have a curse on you. So eventually you'll start feeling like, well, damn, I'm less than human almost.
But so that's why again you have to do the work.
You have to do the work. So it's like when I come into contact with somebody who is private, deal, whatever, and they claim that they're so happy, I'm not going to disturb your happiness. with me being out and me being proud, because I'm not gonna do husband-like things and then be acknowledged as a best friend or a friend.
A homie, a cousin, a brother cousin.
A brother cousin.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it.
Brother cousin.
And you're not gonna flirt with people in front of me. Just because they don't know what we are, I'm not gonna allow you to flirt with people in front of me, and I'm just not gonna say shit. I'll step in front of y'all.
I ain't being nobody brother cousin. No more. Let me stop. Like,
You gonna be a good brother cousin.
I was a good
Get
brother
over there and be quiet. And cook that meal and do this and do that as a brother cousin.
Yeah.
Not gonna do shit. Not
Don't
at
make
all.
sense. You got to accept me and all of me wholeheartedly, 100%. And if it's something that you cannot do, then you're just not right for me. Like, this is how I look at it. You know, being the age I am now, and constantly going through the ups and downs, we're trying to get to know people, trying to be in, you know, whatever the situation, situationships, relationships. It is so essential to never forget the core values of why you became who you became.
Yeah.
And loving you for you, because I think a lot of times we seek that validation, and we end up finding ourselves going under.
Yeah.
Like, we really do.
Yeah.
And so it's imperative, like I said, to love the skin that you're in, even if you're not thin, because, you know,
Got to love yourself.
everybody feel like, okay.
I love myself too much. That's probably my issue.
And I'm not targeting like the smaller audience or whatever.
If you're tiny, there's a place for you in the community, on earth, in every board, at every table. Nothing wrong with being small. One place you don't belong is in my bed.
Well, you can belong to mine, so that's the
get
difference.
right over there.
Like, that's the difference.
Send you right across the hall.
And that's the difference.
There
But
you go.
anyways, like,
You don't belong in my bed, but somebody else's, because it's just a preference. I just prefer thicker. I ain't got nothing against you.
and
That's it.
I think I've seen lately where thicker guys like singing themselves like, oh, well, I know you probably don't want to talk to me because I'm too big, I'm this, I'm that. But I'm like, y'all,
That's true.
you have to really get to know a person first and foremost.
I won't say it, but sometimes I'll think it. And I'll be wrong.
Yeah, you
I'll
never
be
really
wrong
know.
sometimes.
You never really know.
I'll be like, oh, he ain't going. Like, oh, he stay in shape. He's going to prefer somebody who stays in shape. Not thinking even with my own preference. Even if I was a super gym head, I still would like my preference. So that's just where it's at. And a lot of people in this lifestyle actually were once big, who were in great shape, once were big people a lot of times. Because, like, once you've been picked on this lifestyle so long, you like, well, let me get in this gym and
you
just
find ways to make you better.
go
Like,
ham. So
You really do.
You do. So I mean, hell, and I feel like just as bad as it is for like women or black women or just women, period. When they feel like, oh, well, the standards of beauty are so just ridiculous. In a gay lifestyle, it's pretty much the same. They expect you to have a certain look, a certain way. You can't be too feminine. You can't be this.
You can't make hand gestures
You
because that
can't-
make you feminine.
you
You know,
can't
you
do
can't talk with
nothing.
your hands. You can't sit a certain way. You can't wear a certain shirt, a certain color. You know what I'm saying?
Can we address the people who don't know that they're feminine? Like,
Oh, please do.
Okay. There's a lot of people who I have ran into that either me and George, we both know or know one of the other. And the issue that I had, and I'll probably run into the situation before again, when people say stupid shit like, I don't know how you, I mean, George is too feminine, George is too this, and George is too that, or even if they're telling me that I'm too feminine, I'm like, okay, cool. The problem is those very people are normally, they have feminine ways. And people have lied to them so long, and they started to believe the lie that, like, they don't have any. Every man has some type of feminine way. But sometimes they have so many that you would almost think, you know what I'm saying? You would think, like, you should claim it more.
I think what angers me is when you have people of the gay lifestyle who want to identify themselves as metrosexuals, but they're not. There's a difference in heterosexual and metrosexual. We need to please understand that. And furthermore, like, you can't sit here and holler, you masculine or whatever, or I'm going to get my feet done with the men. And I'm like, but you know what I'm saying? Where do the men go? There's, like...
Craving masculinity is one of the most feminine things.
I was told, or it was told to him, that he seen a certain individual see me as feminine because they walked in here and I was listening to Beyonce while I was in the kitchen washing dishes after a meal that I had cooked. Like, I listened to all genres.
You weren't supposed to do it. But I don't know why.
I grew up on Destiny Child.
But I don't know why.
Destiny Child, actually, but I grew up on
But
that.
I'm a Taylor Swift.
Just like I grew up on 112 and
Yeah.
Jagged Edge and everybody else.
But
Music is music.
But
to
I'm
me.
a Taylor Swift fan, so I don't know why he want to talk to me.
But see,
I was just like.
but you know, you listen to Taylor Swift made you masculine.
Probably in his eyes.
It's complete bullshit.
In his eyes, why not?
Like complete bullshit. But whatever. You know, so
And
I'm
I
gonna
don't-
listen to who I want to listen
and-
to. I'm gonna dance to what I want to dance to.
Do you feel do you mind when people ask you about femininity? Like, are you feminine? Are you masculine? Like,
Do I mind?
do you mind?
I
Do
don't
you
mind.
Get upset.
I don't
about it?
mind because my thing is, either that's gonna single a certain select crowd out, or either they gonna like be like, okay, cool, I wanna, you know, because we are often like we misconceive it. We do. So I'd rather you ask that question.
Because I have people ask me, you know, are you feminine? Are you masculine?
What the issue is to get around me and try to judge me without actually taking the time to get to know me, and then you go in attack mode and say insistent things without actually knowing me or my walk of life. You know what I'm saying? Because just because you want to get around your family and be fake and not be true to them about who you are, that's not me. Either my family gonna accept me for who I am, or they ain't gotta fuck with me.
I'm a very confident individual. So if I feel like you're asking a question and you're trying to like figure out a way where I won't be qualified to deal with you, I don't want to be qualified.
Because my thing is,
that's just how
if I'm too feminine for you, first and foremost, I gotta say this. If I'm too feminine for you, I'm too feminine for you in the bedroom. Like,
yeah,
you don't get that satisfaction of what all I can do for you in the bedroom. That's just it.
it's
Like,
pointless.
I can't be just right for you in the bedroom, but not right enough for you outside the bedroom. I don't do that. That won't fly with me.
And they want you to like line up to what they want. And my thing is, I'm not suffering. If I wanted to date, I'll date. If I want to be in a relationship, I'll be in a relationship. If I don't, I won't. You know, it's because how I look at it, I'm a chaser. So I tend to only chase people that I really want to be with anyways. If you're coming to me asking me to chase you,
I'll be on the whole
I'm
track
not
beat.
gonna do it.
Be on the whole track beat.
Okay? Like I'll be
What the
so
good said? Who can't run? Who can't run?
Who
What
can't
she
run?
said? Who can't run?
Who ain't got speed?
Who ain't got speed?
She wasn't moving fast.
It's all right.
Oh.
In her mind.
But that's
She was
me.
confident, though.
She was confident in it. But when I tell you, I'm a chaser. I know what I like. You ain't gotta ask me, do I like you? You know I like you. If I'm in your inbox every day, I like you. If I message you, if I send my number, I like you.
And again, it's again about living the skin you're in, and you find a ways to let those insecurities go away. The worst thing is to be around people who are insecure with themselves and insecure with you, and they try to make you insecure again. Like, oh, I don't know if you like lawyer, I don't know if you cheat, I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, come on now, look, do you love yourself? Because right now you want me to hate me too.
Okay.
Like you have like
it's tough. I ain't gonna lie. It's a tough go. Like it's a tough go. I just can't see myself being with somebody who I'm not, and I'm not that type. I just don't understand why you would seek after people that you say are not your type.
and don't get with somebody just to beat them down.
Beat them, trying to change them and trying to like argue against.
I dated somebody who had dreads back here, and they were of a bigger size. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very like open and willing to like give people opportunities. I'll never forget. I was on eBay. I saw a shirt that I liked. It was a very nice shirt. They told me that shirt was gonna be too feminine because of the design they had in the shirt.
Oh.
And I'm like,
why was I forgetting who the person was? And now I'm like,
yeah. And I'm like, you walk around with dreads, shaking your head to Nuck If You Buckin'.
Walking the club, shaking my
Megan
head.
Thee Stallion just came out. You doing all that extra, and I'm just like, and then it's like, but you know you got to tone it down because like my dad a pastor, and I'm like, you don't need to fuck with your dad, like.
I'm not.
So you want me to change me being me to make you comfortable around your family, but you like when you at work and when you in places that are of comfortable settings for you.
And there's a
you
difference.
turn up.
And there's a difference between being feminine and being flamboyant. And I get so tired of people like trying to mesh the two together. You can be a masculine seeming person and be flamboyant. You can be feminine and be flamboyant. And a lot of times I feel like because a person is comfortable with who they are and they kind of don't follow up behind like the norms, hetero norms, I guess, it's automatically where you're flamboyant. So I had a few times people ask me like, I mean, do you feel like you flamboyant? Do you feel like you? No,
I love bright colors.
I'm a very laid.
My birthstone is bright
individual.
colors. Like and I was born in the spring. I love bright colors. Like
Yeah, but
I'm gonna wear bright colors. If they make me flamboyant or feminine, that's your battle to fight, not mine. Because I am who I am, and if you don't like it, you don't have to deal with me. You don't have to be around me. I'm not gonna sit here and be all dark and gloomy.
It's a generational battle, to be honest with you, because honestly, in our generation more so, we have kind of like decided to adapt certain things, you know, because it can be a person who's in the church has feminine, well, I ain't gonna say feminine clothing, but like flamboyant type of clothing, tight clothing, whatever the case may be. They might think he's dressed really metrosexual, I guess you could say. And nobody would bother to ask, is he gay within our generation now? Back in the day, that's all you wanted to know was, is the person gay? Is that person gay? Is that... Now it's like, okay,
I remember being
who
younger.
cares?
Like, being younger, you know, you couldn't even wear pinstripes because that was too flashy of a suit for a man. You know what I'm saying?
It's
back in the day,
whack.
like it need to be solid colors. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's whack. And these people, a lot of people who critique other people's fashion don't have any. Can't dress. If you go to California, people gonna be on whatever they want to be.
They will dress you down, baby.
You be in Atlanta, they gonna dress
you down, baby.
You go
I'm telling you,
up
I'll
north,
never,
New York.
I'll never forget being back home and like
down.
I would dress up and put on clothes. And I'm like, y'all ain't never been outside this city. Because, you know, go to a bigger city,
That's how they dress.
they take pride in themselves.
And
they love to skin the end. They take pride in fashion. Fashion is so everything.
I can't wait to go to Miami and put my clothes on. Like, I can't wait.
Miami, we coming for you, baby.
Stripes on one side, floral print on the other side. Like, beachwear, flowers all in that motherfucker. I don't care. I've decided not to care. And I think once people get to that place, not saying you ain't gonna care about how people feel about you, because that's a lie. Everybody cares.
You know, I think a fact of not really being worried about what people say
Yeah.
is a newfound you that is just so refreshing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a process to get to that point.
It
And that's
is.
something that I've expressed time and time again with you and just people around my circle. You know, it's a process to get to that point.
And being proud of your body, like what you've gotten. Well, you know, you eat, you can eat and expand what you got. You can exercise and like take in and slim down what you got. But a lot of what you received came from like family and genetics and hereditary. So it's like you got a lot of good shit. Show it off. You know, like I get so tired of people being so buttoned up and want to cover everything up. Now if that makes you feel comfortable, fine. Like if you're not comfortable with your body, fine. But once you get comfortable with your body, you probably won't care. You know, you'll be like me, shirtless in every other picture on Facebook for no reason, just because I want to be. And people have an issue with a person being confident because they're not confident, and they could be smaller size and they still not confident.
They project their feelings on you.
Yeah.
Their insecurities. They project their insecurities on you.
My insecurity, I talk about all the time, and that's height. That's it. Like I don't really have any more insecurities outside of that. I hate hearing my own voice at times, but a lot of people do.
I mean, I can sing soprano, so I ain't never had a deep voice, like, you know what I'm saying, like, just never.
I think your voice is deep though.
So me, that's
Your
I
voice
don't feel like
your voice is deep.
I don't know. So
Your voice is deep. I think the thing is though with like gay people, we have a feminine cadence, but like our voices itself, the tone is normally deep.
no,
Now you have some who just,
you know, don't ever confuse it though. I'm still crazy. So
so goddamn stupid. Why plug that in?
I just
Don't get it confused. I'm crazy.
Cause you never know who be watching. They be watching.
I might sing soprano, but when I hit this high note, I'm gonna kill you.
Okay, the fans be watching. Let me stop.
So damn stupid. But yeah, just learn to be confident in who you are. You can't worry about what people feel, how they think.
Just put the work in to build yourself up. Love you. Surround yourself around positive people who love you just as much and can show you the things that you lack and how to like implement that in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Like those are necessary things that you have to take with you every day. Like learn how to apply the things that will make you better.
Yeah.
And that way you can like take those tools and skills and like pass that on like to somebody else so they can put in the work too.
Because we all have had our experience in dating where we felt less than, you know what I'm saying, or felt like inadequate to our partner. So, and I feel
that's
like
the worst feeling to be in a relationship and feel less than inadequate or not like feel like you're not measuring up.
And a lot of times, honestly, I have gotten so strong on compatibility, and we're not really compatible. We know it's not going to last long. So, I mean, there's no point in us sitting up here acting like we're going to be together for life. We're not. Whether we're sexually compatible, whether it's like physical or chemistry or whatever. Like if we're not those things, or they're not adding up, we're not coming together, we're not finding a common spot in that, we're not gonna last long. And I don't feel bad about cutting it off early. People be like, well, you know, you'll date somebody and you'll cut them off quick. Well, if we're not compatible, I don't see the point.
Right. Right.
Life is short. Like I used to do the
Life
whole
is so short.
give it 3 months, give it 6 months. That's 6 months I'm not getting back. I've been with a
Ain't no
motherfucker
need to send over.
I ain't like from like week 4.
Ain't no need to send over crying over a piece of hog that you ain't even finna get a piece of bacon out of. So.
The fuck?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What, on a farm?
E-I-E-I-O.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
God damn it. Nah,
Okay, but yeah, today again, like I said, level the skin in, even if you're not thin. We just want to have a little brief discussion with y'all, see what y'all thoughts were. You know, give us some feedback, give us your takes,
Right.
your experiences maybe. Let us keep this conversation going because we want to make this situation better for our community. It's very concerning, and we just want everybody to love themselves and be able to show love at its best form, you know. So this is the M&G show, you know what I'm saying? Y'all guys, make sure you go subscribe, share, and like. We out.
Yeah. Bye.